Okay, so today we're going to look at the significance of two High Court cases that involved the interpretation of the Commonwealth Constitution in terms of their impact on the lawmaking powers of the state and Commonwealth parliaments. So you need to know two High Court cases, and it's important that they relate to the lawmaking powers of the state and Commonwealth parliaments. Later in the study design, you need to know a High Court case that impacts the protection of rights, but for this part you need to know two High Court cases that impact the lawmaking powers of the state and Commonwealth Parliament. So it's really important that you're clear on the different cases there. And the two that we look at are the first uniform tax case and the Franklin Dam case. So when you're answering these questions, I think it's a good idea to have a good structure in place to make sure that you make all the key points. And the one I'd recommend using, if you just go through the issue of the case, the relevant law, the facts of the case, the High Court decision, and the effects or the impact involved. If you cover off those key points, then you should have all the information that you need. Okay, so the first case we look at is the first uniform tax case. The issue in this case is really around whether the Commonwealth could become the sole income tax collector. So prior to this case, both the states and the Commonwealth were able to collect income taxes, and this case is really about whether the Commonwealth could just take over that power exclusively. It's just important to note that this case did revolve around income taxes. So the states can still collect other types of taxes, but this case was really just about income taxes. The law in this case, Section 51, Paragraph 2, gives the Commonwealth the right to levy taxation, and this power is a concurrent power. It's shared with the states. The facts of the case was that during World War II, the Commonwealth government wanted to be able to raise more money for the war effort, so they passed 4 acts that combined state and federal income tax and declared that Commonwealth taxes took priority over the states. So the states challenged that in the High Court, but the High Court upheld the validity of the Commonwealth scheme, and so state governments were effectively prevented from levying their own income taxes. The effects or the impact of this case was that it increased the Commonwealth's power at the expense of the states, and importantly it increased the financial dominance of the Commonwealth. The second case we look at is the Franklin Dam case. The issue in this case was whether the Commonwealth government could use their external affairs power to legislate in an area of residual powers. So residual powers are normally reserved for the states, and the Commonwealth is prevented from making laws in those areas, but this case was about whether the Commonwealth could use their external affairs power to interfere in an area normally reserved for the states. The law in this case, Section 51, Paragraph 29, gives the Commonwealth Parliament the power to legislate in regards to external affairs. The facts of the case was that the Tasmanian government at the time wanted to dam the Franklin River. There was a lot of protest about that on the mainland, and the Commonwealth Parliament used its external affairs power to stop the Tasmanian government from damming the Franklin River by declaring the area a World Heritage Site. The decision in the case was that the High Court held that the external affairs power did enable the Commonwealth to legislate in areas of residual powers when they were enacting obligations under an international treaty. The effects of the case was that it increased the Commonwealth power at the expense of the states because they were therefore able to legislate in residual powers if they could demonstrate that they were enacting obligations under an international treaty. And that's it.